these randoms keep getting jobs? Don't worry about it. I'ma say, I can't wait to say it. I love it. I love it. Go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the NotBland Show. I am your host, Dujane Bland, and today we have a great show. We have some more pro stock motorcycles that we're going to talk about. We're going to get into pro stock, and we're going to cap this thing off with some AFC, NFC Championship game review, and I'll give my picks for the Super Bowl. As always, make sure you guys are subscribing to our YouTube channel. Make sure you're hitting the bell so you know exactly when we're going to go live. And of course, if you can't watch this show, you can also listen to it on all podcasting, platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcast. I think there's Deezer, everything, any place you can find it, you can listen to it there. There's always an audio version put up the next day. Well, without further ado, this guest that I'm bringing in is family, and likely as a media person, we don't root, but for this one, I root. She is from my neck of the woods, the DMV, Charles County. It's my very good friend and pro stock motorcycle rider, Kelly Clontz. How's it going?
Hey, it's going good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Loving this show so far, and loving the off season. So much cool stuff going on. For you, what's new over there for you coming into 2024?
Well, unfortunately, a new motorcycle, since Pomona or whatever. So Vance and Hines is working on rebuilding our bike, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be better than it was before, and it was pretty awesome then. So that's something exciting to look forward to.
Yeah, I guess the bike took a pretty hard hit. There. Ugh.
Yeah. So they did a whole new chassis, and then they were able to fix some of the body work. But we just put that carbon fiber Gen 3 Hayabusa body work on it. So what they couldn't fix, then they put new on there. So it sucks, but hey, it's part of the deal, and I'm just happy to have them behind us in our corner to bring out something better. And like I said, it was pretty awesome. So
yeah, I talked to Eddie, I believe it was last Wednesday, and he talked about all the work that they're putting in and also helping others. How are you doing after the spill? You feeling better, recovered quite well?
yeah, I'm good. I'm ready to go. I'm 100%, thankfully. It was more precautionary for, to go to the hospital or whatever. They didn't want me to not take me there because of how fast I was going.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than my hand was bruised pretty bad and my knuckle got sliced open, and then I just had bruises. But other than that, I was pretty good.
Man, that's a testament to the safety equipment that you guys have. It looked worse than it actually was, which that is always good. Is it the same thing that Angie went through with kind of the brake kind of catching and locking up?
I think it was just the nature of the beast. Like, you come down the track, you get through the finish line, shut off the throttle, and then, you let it. I decel, especially at Pomona, because it's so short, but it's bumpy. So I guess at the time that I went to grab the brake, it probably, unloaded the front wheel, and then I grabbed brake, and then it locked it up. So when it came down, it happened so fast, and it sucks, but it's, something can happen at any time. So I don't really think about it like that. just happy we have the people behind us that we do, and we can just keep moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, you guys had a really solid season. I mean, the bike was a 680 bike for majority of the season. Then we get to the last half of the season, and I don't know what Chris did, but that was like a Thanos tune-up. It comes out and runs that 670, lights the scoreboard up. You go 200. That has to make you feel good. Like I said, every season you guys been out there, there has been progress made, and there were some huge steps made last season.
Right. Like, I mean, it's unfortunate because, we came out strong and solid at running 80s, like you said, and I was pretty consistent and just comfortable. And then we changed the body work, and then to pop off that 70 in Dallas, and then we went a couple more 70s in Dallas, and then in Pomona, in Vegas, we had changed some things and it didn't work for us, but in Pomona we went a 75, and then we went a 77. So it's pretty awesome. It just shows that if you keep with something and you keep working at it, that you can get there. And then like I said, we have the right people behind us. Vance and Hines, I mean, Andrew and Eddie, they pretty much tune the bike. So Chris does all the mechanic work, and we talk through everything, and they've given us a bad hot rod. So it gives me the confidence, just with the support that we have behind us, that I can just go out there and do my job, and I know it's going to be fast. And that's a whole different mindset right there. When you have a fast motorcycle.
Right. It's just left up to you.
Yep. No, and I mean I just felt pretty good with my skill set, and like I told Chris, I said, this year it's 2024, all gas, no brakes is my motto.
I love it.
All gas, no brakes.
Eddie was talking about how important it was for the 60-foot time, and what exactly have you been doing? Because you can tell that you're way more comfortable on this bike leaving and going through as far as on the back end of the racetrack. What is it that you've been kind of focusing on to kind of help you continue to be consistent so you can keep that 60-foot time low?
So I think one of my problems is just moving around a lot. We can talk, since we're Vance and Hines, we'll talk Gage. Like, Gage leaves with the bike. And I think when I pop the clutch, I've been moving around a lot. So I've been trying to focus on like body positioning and just finding the sweet spot for where I need to be. And I lost, probably, I guess, like 20 pounds last year. So I went in 20 pounds lighter, and that's another thing people don't think about. So when I first started racing, my bike was 600 pounds. That was with the 2-valve. Well, now it's 640. And that's with the 4-valve, but I'm also 20 pounds lighter.
Yeah.
So there's 60 additional pounds on the front of that motorcycle.
Right.
So, I don't know if I grabbed too much front brake. It is what it is. I don't we got a fast motorcycle though with 60 extra pounds.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing the difference that makes. The moving around, is that just kind of a thing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's just something that you're used to doing, and it's kind of a thing that you kind of work yourself out of a little bit.
I think it's more so just leaving with the bike and not like anticipating, or like you just leave smoothly with the bike. Like, use your abs, and I think I'm aggressive. Like, I am on it. Everything I do is like hardcore. So it's just, Andrew's always like, Kelly, just pretend you're sitting on the couch petting your cat. You just let the clutch go. Like, you don't need to go with the bike, just, and it's just getting that concept, brain to hand coordination.
As you can see, she's always focused, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Always focused.
Tunnel vision on everything we do. I mean, we've been doing this since 2001. 2002 is when I started racing, and I love it. And I know that I've just got tunnel vision on it. It hasn't been an easy journey, but it's been worth it every step. And just to see the progress that we're making, and then, that this year to have the success that we did. And I'm really confident that 2024 is just going to be better. And last year was pretty awesome. I don't even count Pomona at it is what it is. I'm going to get back on it and come out strong. So I'm excited for that.
Now, how is your previous, because most people don't know that you raced in motorcycles before. How has that particular racing helped you on this particular bike here?
It's totally different. Maybe if I would have started on a bike that was set up like Pro Stock, it would have been easier for me.
Yeah.
But I had a no bar slick and slider Hayabusa before I came over to Pro Stock. So my front brake used to be my left hand and my back brake was my right hand. And now my clutch, everything is like totally different.
Yeah.
And it was a small tire. It was 72-inch wheelbase. No wheelie bars. It was a slider, so it was automatic. I would just roll on the throttle.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter. Perfection in Pro Stock, you strive for perfection. You perfect everything you do. And I had auto shift, so I had to get used to shifting fast. 670, you're like on it.
Yeah.
And it's like you strive for that perfection. And there's always something to work on. Where bracket racing, you just put a number on the bike and it doesn't matter how pretty you look going down the racetrack. You could have one arm off, one out here. As long as you run the number, you're good. Yeah, no, I think it helped me because like growing up, I didn't have like athletic ability. I was pretty smart in school, but it just gave me that drive to want to compete and just want to be better at something. And it's been something exciting to work for. It's my passion, and it fuels me every day to just be excited. And I think everybody in life needs to find whatever it is that lights them up, like racing lights me up.
I agree. And you get to do this with your husband, and most people don't have an opportunity to do that with family. And, tell us how important that support system, having Chris there, to support you when, things may not go well, or when things do go well.
There's no better feeling, I think, just in our dynamic, because like everything we've done, like we treat Pro Stock, it's a business. Like,
yes.
We take away from what our careers and what we do here at home to go race. So, we keep it as it's a business, but like we work hand in hand together. And no, it's not always easy because it is my husband and we're on the road sometimes, like the Western Swing for a whole month, and we're in a little confined space, but like he knows me the best out of everybody. And he knows, like I know 1000% he's got my back, and going in, like, and him being my mechanic and how meticulous we are about everything. And it's like, it's all in the details. And that's how, we just, his strengths are my weaknesses. My strengths are his weaknesses. So like our team is solid because we know our role.
Yeah.
And, if there's something that I, have a question about or whatever, he knows I'm going to ask him. We just communicate. That's big too. And I think a lot of times when you get too many hands involved in what you're doing, it's harder to just have that mesh, like we both have a checklist and we know what needs to be done and we make it happen. So, we have a really good relationship, and we've been that way for so long. It's we got together in 2001, so it'll be 23 years. And we know how it works.
Hey, I just celebrated a 23-year anniversary too this month.
Well, happy anniversary. We're in April.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
cool.
Yep, it'll be 23 in April, which is crazy because we're like, how does the time even go by that quick?
Wow, I know. We are high school sweethearts, and
that's awesome.
Time has flown by.
Yeah.
It's wild how fast it goes. it
Yep.
seems like I was just 20. I was just 18 and just getting married.
Yeah, and it's like, how has it been 20 some years? Yeah.
I was
don't
thinking
get it.
about the fact of the first time that I linked up with you at Gainesville, and it seems just like yesterday, but it's not yesterday.
No, it was 2018, I believe.
Yeah.
I think it was 2018. And
Absolutely
yeah,
insane.
which is it's 6 years ago already, and it's like,
Yeah.
how does that even happen?
Man, time.
And that's
Waits for
another
no one.
thing. Like, people, we when we got in pro stock, we signed up for this. We knew if we were going to get in this, we were committed, and that success wasn't going to happen overnight. Pro stock is the hardest thing that I've ever done in my life, and that's every part of it. It's not just the riding part. Like, it's the hardest motorcycle I've ever rode, but it's also, the fan base side, the relationships you're building, the sponsors that you're, looking for, and the right fit for your team, because you don't just have anybody sponsor you. You pick the right, at least I pick the people that are my people and that'll fight tooth and nail for me. And it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing with it, but it's awesome.
I think where we come from helps with that too. Charles County has a thing of, I've always thought of it when we grew up that it was a handshake meant something.
Yeah.
And we come from that era. So it's not just chasing money so that I can race, but I also want to make sure that these people have the same belief system that I do.
Yep.
And that when we shake hands, that it means something. So
yep.
I totally
agree with you. Yeah, I mean, like, core values, like, you have to be on the same page. Just, you're I'm all about ride or die. You're my right. Like, if I'm on your side, I will fight tooth and nail. But if me and you ain't cool, like, you might want to just steer clear of Kelly Clontz.
Breyer says, any new goals or expectations for this season?
My main goal is to qualify in the top half. I think 2023 really gave me the confidence in my skill set because the numbers and the skills aligned.
Yeah.
And it's easy it's a mental game with pro stock, and like I said, you strive for perfection, but I've always known that I've had the right people behind me. And this year, the skills with the program and everything just meshed, and nothing comes easy with me. I have to take 2 steps forward and then 2 steps back, but I'm gonna take like 3 steps forward now, going into Gainesville. But just qualifying in the top half, I really know that I have the best of the best. Gage, Eddie, and I qualified 1, 2, and 3 in Dallas. That was freaking awesome.
Yeah, that was.
I want to keep that momentum. And then also, like, I want to hoist a Wally. And I know, I haven't won a ton of rounds and this and that, but I don't have a whole lot of luck on my side. So I got to get my skills fine-tuned, for me to keep it moving. But I believe that, like, even my reaction times, like, everything just, like, at the end of the season was what I knew it could be, but it finally, all the pieces came together. And 2024, all gas, no brakes. We're going to hit those goals, and I am going to hoist a Wally. That is my main goal. And it's going to be awesome. And everybody's going to know about it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The top interview is going to be electrifying.
Yeah, like, I visualize those things. Like, that's the thing. I visualize everything. I can see it, I can feel it, I can taste it, I can it's there. It's just a matter of continuing with what we're doing because we're on the right path and we have the right people.
Absolutely. And it's coming.
Yeah.
It's definitely
I'm
coming.
a firm believer.
Now, could you tell the fans what Steam Fitters Local 602 is?
So my husband is part of the Heat and Air Conditioning Union out of Washington, D.C. They're based in Maryland, but they work D.C., Maryland, Virginia is their jurisdiction. He's been part of that since 1995, right when he graduated high school. And they have been the biggest support system for us. Just as a wife of a steam fitter, union benefits, health insurance, retirement, and I always try to recruit people into construction. I grew up, my dad was a union electrician. I work for a union electrical company. Construction needs people. It's a career that you're always going to have the need for. And if you get in and you do your job, you're basically set for life. You have all the benefits you need. You make a solid salary. You can and that's pretty much with anything. Right. If you put the work in, you can reap the rewards, but you have to be willing to put the work in. And big time advocate for construction, especially women in construction. I need to recruit more women into it. But I'm been working as an electrical estimator since 2001. So everything I've done is Chris and I got together in 2001. I started estimating in 2001, and I started racing in 2002. And all three of those things I still do today. So it just shows that, if you put the work in, you can have anything you want. So They've been a big support system. They do it because we're members, and, they want to support their members. They're great. So I'm just proud to be a part of it. And we get a lot of love from different unions and, different construction company, throughout the United States. They always come up to us because they see the big logo on the trailer, and they know what it is, and they're excited to talk about it. And it's pretty awesome. So it's definitely a love. I feel the love. I tell you, ride or die.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah. Now, what is your testing schedule looking like?
Well, considering that we're still rebuilding, we'll probably test before Gainesville. They normally have a test session. I don't know the details. I look at it like this. I know Vance and Hines is going to give me a bad motor scooter. I know I got the skills to do it, and I'm going to show up to Gainesville. I don't know. It's hard because we work for a living, but they're also rebuilding our stuff, and we wouldn't go test without them because, they tune the bike and stuff. So we're pretty much probably testing the test prior to Gainesville.
That'll work.
Yeah.
Hey, I know that bike is going to be ready to go. They're building some really strong bullets over there.
Oh,
Yours
yeah.
is one of them. So I don't expect anything less. That's for sure. Tell everybody where they can follow you at and keep up with you as we kind of creep right into the 2024 Mission Foods Drag Racing Series.
Yeah. So Facebook, we do Kelly Clontz Racing. It's CLONTZ. Instagram is Kelly.Clontz. I think we're on Twitter. I'm terrible at Twitter. It's I think it's KL Clontz or something. I don't know.
I think so.
I can't get on. I can't do the Twitter. I don't know. Facebook and Instagram are my thing. We do have a website, kellyclontz.com. We do sell swag and stuff on there. We're here though. I'm excited. I'm fired up. I'm happy that you got me to join you for this podcast. And I actually did it inside because my cats are here because you said they're my babies.
They're your babies.
Hold on. This is Lenny.
Hey. Cuteness.
Yeah. So, I love my babies.
Yes. They travel with you on the road, don't they?
No, I cannot take a cat. I would be scared to death. If I opened the door and they ran it, because you freak out a cat, you ain't catching that cat.
No, that joker's fast.
No, so they are home. They are resting and waiting for mom to get home. So, we travel. We worry about racing, and then we come home to all my babies.
Yeah, that's all good. That's all good. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. This will not be the last time. We'll work it out during the season. This show will likely move to Tuesdays in March just because people travel on Wednesdays before races.
Oh,
so it'll be very difficult.
Yeah, so, the closer ones, we might not leave till Wednesday. But you're right. I didn't even think about that.
Yep. So we'll move in March sometime. But this is the first time, but not the last time. And please give Chris my regards.
Definitely. Thank you so much. I love chatting with you, and I appreciate all your love and support for the homegirl. Just wait till she hoists the Wally because it's going to happen.
Oh, I'm probably going to be screaming like a girl in here.
Me too.
All right, Kelly, you have a good night.
Awesome. You too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Kelly Clontz, and there's going to be some big things for that team. They've progressed every year. They had a really good finish to the year. And like I said, Vance and Hines building bikes that are just killer. And like I said, I told Eddie last week, I don't know what they're trying to do, but it seems like they're trying to assemble the Avengers with all that power over there. Well, we're going to get into some pro stock. And let me tell you, this guy right here, he's lethal. He's lethal. I'm going to say I was on the Dallas Glenn bandwagon before everybody else knew. Okay. So let's be clear. This guy finished 6th last season, but I'm sure he's going to come back with a vengeance. It's my guy, Dallas Glenn. How's it going?
Hey, good. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. I tell you, last season, the car was on fire. Then the countdown happened. But I'm going to tell you, when you look at it, I don't think it was you. I think it was something mechanical that was going on. Am I hitting somewhere close to that?
Honestly, I don't when we go back and look at some of the numbers, once the countdown started, I didn't really slow down. Everybody else just all of a sudden got faster.
Yeah.
And I didn't. So, I went from qualifying, 3rd, 4th, 5th to 9th, 10th, and 9th, the first 3 races of the countdown. So, we it definitely put us back a little bit, but we still fought to 2 final rounds in the countdown, which is pretty good, considering we went from having kind of like a dominating car to, a car that was kind of struggling just to make top half. And
yeah,
I think some of it might be, I've always noticed that the track prep usually kind of changes just a little bit. They do, spray just a little bit more, I think, during the countdown. I don't know if they actually do, but it just kind of seems like maybe it's just because the temperatures cool down a little bit towards the end of the season and the track just gets that much better. But
what's been going on this off season for you? I know you're hard at work in the shop, and you got this really cool pro race coming up here. What's been going on this off season?
We've had that. It hasn't felt like much of an off season. It's basically as soon as I got back from Pomona at the end of the season, I just drove straight up to Ohio and picked up our first new trailer from Pegasus. And
Nice.
We've been working on that thing pretty hard, and we were trying to get everything how we like it and get all the little knickknacks and stuff mounted and set the way we wanted and loaded and organized. And so it's been a little bit of a process there. This is the first time I've ever, been with a team that got a new trailer. So it's kind of been a learning experience for me. And there's lots of little stuff that I took for granted that they already had done.
Yeah.
But it pretty much between that and then we've gone down to Florida a bunch to try to get some new driver's license. We've got Sienna Wildgust and Brandon Foster. We got licensed.
Nice.
So we've gone down, I think, 3 or 4 times down to Florida. So it's been a busy off season.
Yeah, I mean, that's really cool, though. I'm really looking forward to Sienna. A lot of talk about her, and I can't wait to see what she puts out there. It's so cool to see an influx as far as the pro stock class goes. It's very healthy, and the competition is it's insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, those last few races in the countdown were just absolutely, they were nuts. It was just so brutal. You look at, number 1 qualifier goes 650. It's like, oh, okay, well, what's number 16? Oh, like a 54. You can miss 2 shifts and go from 2nd to 15th.
Yeah, it was wild. And then Jed comes out like he's never left and puts up numbers. It's like insane stuff, just insane stuff. But I love how this class is really starting to explode as far as performance and talent. When you look around in this class, it keeps you on your toes, doesn't it? With all the other competition around you, you can't really sleep or miss anything.
Oh no, it doesn't matter if you I mean, even qualifying in the top half of the field, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I qualified fifth. Let's see, who do I have this week? Oh, I've got Jaggy this week. Okay, so then, next week you qualify sixth. Okay, I get Christian Quadra. It's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you qualify. They're all tough. I mean, there's not one single round that's going to be easy for you.
Now, Drag Racing Mayhem asks, who does Dallas want first round in Bradenton?
Oh, at this point, I don't really care at all as long as the wind light comes on in my lane. It doesn't matter who you get first round there. Like I was just saying there, it's all going to be tough. One of the things about Florida in February, especially at a track like Bradenton, is the weather is just probably going to be phenomenal, and I think you're gonna see some pretty crazy numbers down there. I don't think that low 640s are out of the question.
Yeah, I don't think so either. How important is it to get on top of things? I know when you talk to the pro stock motorcycle riders, they talk about the first 60 feet being important. And if you hit your numbers in the first 60, you're likely going to run a decent number on the back end. Is that pretty much the same thing when you're looking at pro stock?
Pretty much. I mean, it's gotten so tight and competitive now that you really it's more than just having a good 60 foot. I mean, you kind of need it all. You got a 60 foot well, you got to get to the 330 half track, and then you got to run, still be able to have some gear left to run good down the back. Being a little different than the motorcycles, they don't have the high side rev limiters like we do. So we, if we just go stack a bunch more gear to it, all it means is we're going to hit the high side just sooner before we get to the finish line. So it's a little bit, it's a little bit of a finesse trying to find the, tiptoe the right balance of everything. So, I mean, for the most part, absolutely, any bit of momentum that you gain in 60 foot is just going to carry on down track. But it's, you can have bad 60 foot runs and still run pretty decent, as long as you run good to the 330.
Yeah. Dave W says, take the rev limiter off. He says, how quick and fast could you go?
I think if you got rid of the rev limiter, you might gain a couple hundredths is probably about all. But, it's definitely going to make shifting and everything a lot easier. I think the consistency of if you accidentally shift 50 or 100 RPM high or low, it's not going to absolutely kill you like it does. Right now, if you're 100 RPM high, you basically just run into a brick wall and it tries throwing you forward and it upsets the car, and it just gets all kinds of stuff angry in the car. So just getting rid of the rev limiter, I think you'd see the consistency kind of tighten up quite a bit.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of people know too much about what you guys do in transition from round to round, but what are some of the important things that you guys do after a round going down the racetrack? What type of services do you do? And then how much of change to the car do you guys make depending on, obviously, the conditions?
Well, the biggest thing that we do is obviously, we check over the engine, check the valve train out, make sure there's no broken springs or anything going haywire there with lifters or rockers, which is, it happens. It's not uncommon to come back from a run and, find a spring that broke in the shutdown or a rocker that was, starting to go bad or something like that. That's a pretty common thing. You usually see one or two of those every race. As far as like my job on the car is I pull the clutch out every run. So I'll come back from a run and I'll pull the transmission and the clutch out of the car, and we service and kind of freshen everything up and put it all back together. And then once I get the clutch back in the car, based on weather and track conditions, they'll decide if we're going to change anything in the transmission, which is pretty much 75% of the time you're usually changing something in the transmission. So it's a very, very common thing. Every now and then, maybe you were a little soft on gearing on the first because it was first round or something, or you were, first or second pair where the track wasn't as good. And now you're going to the next round where the air is a little bit worse and you can kind of just leave it alone. So every now and then you get to leave it, and those rounds are always a little bit nice because it kind of takes, 25-minute transmission build off your hands. Yeah. But, and as far as the back of the car, they might be, moving weight or ride heights or shock adjustments or, maybe a rear gear change. There's lots of stuff that we do in between rounds.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing, like especially with a car, what you guys do in between rounds, especially when sometimes those turnarounds are extremely tight because of, TV. I'm sure that throws a little bit of a monkey wrench in everything. I've always wondered that sometimes, let's say we both have cars and you will set up my car and I set up your car. That's I would be unnerved to think that somebody might miss something, especially if we have to race each other. How does that work?
Well, I guess you just have to have a lot of trust in your teammate there. One of the things, we have we have a group of crew chiefs that kind of just overlook all of our cars, and it never fails. They're basically all they care about is trying to get every car to run the best that they can every time.
Right.
And they basically they try to, like we name our cars just like simple things. Like, okay, this car is like, A and this one's B and this, so it's like they just look at a car off of a very simple standpoint and just try to see, okay, well, car A here needs this and this and this to make it its best run, and it's going to be in this lane. So let's make those changes and they'll move right on to the next car. And, I think that's probably one of the best ways to do it, because you're not trying to, think about who you're running. You just kind of run your own race and we'll settle it on the racetrack. And obviously, some of the cars kind of have their own little personality. So some cars may like a little bit different racetrack or just be running a little bit better at different times of the year. And it's a challenge. I definitely, I don't envy the job that they have. They've got a lot of cars, a lot of information coming in, and they have a lot of decisions to make in some of those really short turnaround times. So, they don't get it perfect every time, and I don't think anybody could. They do the best they can. I think we've got some of the best crew chiefs in the business on our team.
Yeah, it's amazing the new crew chiefs that have kind of evolved into the sport. I've been saying that when you look around the NHRA, you're kind of getting the NFL feel where everybody, there's a young guy that's coming up, and there's a lot of young tuners involved right now. And I think that's really, really good for the sport, because that means that things are growing, because eventually the older guys, they eventually won't be around. So that's super important. You guys have RavTorque systems on the car. Any new sponsors that you guys brought over?
We're still trying to, find little things here and there. I have RavTorque systems. They've been absolutely just the best people to be with, and they're super supportive, and their business has been real good. They've been super busy, and probably he would argue with me that they've been a little too busy. I don't think he likes, he's got a little bit of a back order. I don't think he likes that big of a back order, but it's good to have orders keep coming in. I know he's happy about that. Sure. We still have Summit on board as always. Summit does a lot for us. Bell has helped me quite a bit. They give me I absolutely love my Bell helmet. It's probably it's the best helmet I've ever worn. As far as a visor goes, like I don't think I could get that thing to fog up if I tried. Like I could put that thing in a sauna and start breathing on it, and it still wouldn't fog. I don't know how they do it, but
that's important.
I've ever since I put that helmet on, I've not once ever been worried about closing my visor at any point and having it fogging up. Still lots of little things. Obviously my wife, SR Driven Media, she takes care of all of my social media and stuff for me. So that's a big one. That's probably one of my most expensive sponsors right there.
Yeah. She does an excellent job, and
probably eyeing me right now.
She does an excellent job, and she races her own. I think it's pretty cool. Like I talked about with Kelly, a lot of people don't get to do this with their family. How good is it to have your wife with you and to have that support system when things don't go right and when things do?
Oh no, it's great. There's very few people out here that get to have their wife go to every single race. It's a lot of those things where it's like, man, I got to go home. I've been gone forever, and it's like, oh, I'm with my wife every night at the track. So it's it's great. I absolutely love that, and having all the family around. It's it's definitely made driving and traveling and being on the road for all this time a lot easier.
And she races top dragster. I feel like she does a good job. I know she's hard on herself, but I feel like she does a good job. That's one of the classes that if I had an opportunity, that's exactly what I would want to go.
Oh yeah, it's a fun class, and it's gotten pretty crazy on how fast some of these guys go.
Yeah.
Some of these guys they're trying to hold a bunch and looking over and bracket racing people and trying to take 00 stripes at 230 miles an hour. And I can tell you from only going 205 and stuff, you're going pretty fast down there to be trying to ripping the throttle and looking over a bunch at somebody.
Yeah.
Trying to look behind you on somebody running up on you. It's stuff's happening really fast down there.
Yeah. I mean, those you have to be skilled for sure, because that's really tough. You gotta have a really big set of these to do that. Well, with coming up with Bradenton, what's the most thing you're looking forward to about this particular race? They're having a chip draw. You're going to have a bunch of testing and going to be able to qualify, but that really doesn't matter. What are you most looking forward to when it comes down to this race? I'll say outside of the money.
Honestly, one of the things right now I'm looking forward to is just getting back into the car, like competitively against somebody, especially because, I've never ran, any sort of a race or anything at Bradenton. So I'm adding a new track to that. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun down there. I don't know if they've never had any kind of NHRA race like this. I know the top fuel cars have never been there before. So
right.
We were there just like 2 weeks ago, and they just got the scoreboards working for that last streetcar race that they had there.
Yeah.
So it's the track. I think they're going to be shocked at how much bite this track has off the starting line and everything. It's going to be a lot of fun, and just getting back into the car and making competitive laps. I think it's going to be. I've never really been a huge fan of the chip draw. I think we've had one race. My very first race technically was the Door Car Nationals back in Orlando 3 years ago.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Chip draw. Of course, me and Greg had to run each other second round, and he snuck back around me by 7th out. And I was like, God, it was like all the people I didn't want to race. That was
right.
That was the one. It's my very first race, and I got to race the boss, second round. As far as that, but I've pretty much raced everybody on tour now, so it's not. So the chip drop may not bother me as much. At least this way, you have absolutely no idea who you're going to be going up against until it's about time to race. So it'll add a little bit of extra layer of excitement to it. So it shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, you guys get a little bit of advantage too. I know they're going to have a little bit of a test session there in Gainesville, but it allows you to get your feet underneath you before you get to the Gator Nationals.
Yeah, no, and that'll be good. So that'll be another thing. Typically, what people don't know is that most national events, they're not allowed to have pro testing or really any testing there for basically up to a week before the race. Right. So having this test basically be the week of the race will be, it'd actually be a lot nicer because we get down there early, we get set up, we get our parking space, we get to test for a few days. Kind of relax, service everything. We get to go do all of the media stuff that we need to do on Thursday, and then we can, get ready to go and hit the season hard and come out of the gates with a full steam there at the Gators. So should be a lot of fun. We didn't get to do that last year. I think last year we went to I actually went to Bradenton testing last year, if I remember.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Hopefully this year there's no rain at Gainesville and the weather's really nice. The last couple of years, it ain't been that friendly to us. I did like the real cold weather, but then I figured out that, that doesn't matter if the track's cold. So I always wanted to know what would happen. And it's like, it just needs to be like mid 60s, high barometer, and no humidity. And that's when you can see your good numbers. Oh yeah. I'm looking forward to the season to start. And man, let everybody know where they can follow you at and keep up with you during the season.
I seem to be biggest on Facebook. It's at Dallas Glenn 660. Same with Twitter and Instagram. You You can follow me on any of those. Every now and then I do post a couple TikTok videos. I believe it's the same at Dallas Glenn 660. I've got a couple in-cars in there that are pretty cool, including one at Bristol where I was racing Greg's second round again. And that's when I don't know what it was, but neither one of us had any hold of the track, and it was a pretty wild ride. We both had to lift at 1,000 foot, and he snuck back around me because of it. He didn't pull the parachutes and I did. And, it was just kind of a instinct move. And, I will definitely be glad I brought the car back in one piece after that run. But, I'm always going to go back and think like, God, I wish if I just didn't hit the parachutes, maybe I could have stayed ahead of him by a few thou,
Right.
But, I've got some cool videos on there. So, go check it out, give me a follow on there, and you'll definitely, see how everything's going. And when we leave for this Bradenton race here coming up soon.
Yes, and I'll be watching. Thank Sadie for me again. This is the first time, but it will not be the last time, Dallas. And I look forward to seeing you and Sadie at Gainesville.
Awesome. We'll definitely see you there. And I believe she'll have her car there in Top Dragster too.
All right. I'll be making sure I look out and watch her run.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me on here.
No problem, brother. That's Dallas Glenn, everybody. Man, I'm telling you, this season is going to be awesome. And every class is filled with competitors. Really looking forward to the top fuel class. It just keeps getting more and more crowded. Billy Torrance said he's going to come out. He's going to run a full season. Looking forward to that. Funny car with the changes for the time being, with Austin Prock being able to run for Robert Height. Get well soon, Robert. But it's cool opportunity for Austin to be able to race with his dad and his brother. That's going to be real cool to see. My next question, when I get an opportunity to ask a funny car guy, I want to know why so many people go to Top Fuel and don't go to funny car. I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not gonna go to funny car because I just don't have it. I don't have it. I don't want any engines in front of me, period. I don't want to hear it. Nope. And if it blows up, no sir, can't have that. Ain't my thing. I'd rather have the engine behind me. But yeah, I appreciate you guys tuning in. The questions that you brought through, excellent. Yes, Drag Racing Mayhem. Funny car is harder to drive. You're 100% right on that. And like I said, I don't want no part of an engine being in front of me, period. So you call me a wuss if you want, but I'll take the Top Fuel Dragster all day. Would I race pro stock motorcycle? There was a small time that I thought about doing one of the smaller classes. I'm 43, my man. I can't afford to fall. You know what I mean? Can't afford to fall, but yeah, I would do it. Yeah, Top Fuel Harley. Yeah, those guys are nuts. They can have that too. Yep, I'll leave that to them. Don't want no part of it. Yep. Yeah, because I ain't doing that. Nope, not doing it. But ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys tuning in, and we're going to get right to our NFL coverage as we close this show. And I tell you what, the AFC and NFC Championship games were fantastic. I know I made my predictions, and they both went sour. But I like I said, I thought the 49ers might win. I thought destiny was for the Lions. And we'll start there. So before I talk to you, we're going to talk about this thing. And, so are you guys ready for story time with Dujane Bland, baby? All right, well.
Let me talk to you. Yeah.
The Detroit Lions come out and they get on a 24-point nothing. I mean, you're thinking, here we are. They're going to do it. And I thought Kyle Shanahan was going Kyle Shanahan for a second until halftime came. And I don't know about you guys, when you saw the game, you just kind of felt in the second half that the wheels were coming off for the Detroit Lions, and they were cut, they were bleeding, and they couldn't stop the bleeding. And they bled out, unfortunately. Very, very unfortunate for them. I'm gonna tell you, it's mind-boggling to me. I'm not gonna blame Dan Campbell. A lot of people have been. Look, the guy's been the same guy all season long. All season long, and we'll get to that, Briar. Yeah, I mean, what a job by Spags and Andy Reid. But they've been that way all season. He went for it, and hey, if you look back at it, if Reynolds catches the ball and doesn't have hands that were just dipped in Crisco, they likely might have been able to turn that thing around, but it wasn't to be. I will say this, though. The first time he went for it, I was okay. I would have took the 3 the next time because that really made the difference in the ball game. If they had that extra 3, they'd have been tied up. Maybe you go to overtime. But I just think the 49ers were on a roll at that point, and it was just too much to stop. I'm okay with the 49ers being America's team, and they should be. Dallas is not. So, I'm okay with that. I'm a big Kyle Shanahan guy. Yeah, they definitely did it this week, though. To come back from that deficit, especially Kyle Shanahan. We know him as the 28-3 guy. If you're not familiar, that's when he was the offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons. They're up 28-3 against the Patriots, and then they poop their pants. Tom Brady wins. Sad. Yeah, Lamar. Okay, here we go. I'm going to get right into this right now. This is very good. The pass into triple coverage was bad. Shouldn't have done that. Had no business doing that. But my fault lies mostly with Todd Monken. And here's why. You're a running football team. And I will admit, Lamar deserves some of the blame because he just, for some reason, refused to run the ball. I mean, there's plenty of times where the A gap or the C gap was open and he could have just gotten 10 yards. And he just decided to hang out in the pocket under pressure and throw it up to nobody. But Todd Monken comes out, and I guess he thought he was going to outsmart the great Andy Reid and be pass happy. Did you not watch the game tape from Buffalo? Buffalo basically did a Stone Cold Steve Austin, stumped a mud hole in him and walked it dry in the running game. They couldn't finish. But we know the Chiefs have had a problem stopping the run all season long. And that's your identity. But it's real easy for Spags and company to come out and be able to do what they did because guess what the numbers were, people? 37 passes to 16 running plays all game long. And you split up 6 for one back, which would be Edwards, 6 for another back, that would be Hill. The others were by Lamar, and I believe there was one run by Cook that got nowhere. 16 runs in a 60-minute ball game against some of the greatest coaches this game has is absolute suicide. And see, the Chiefs play the same type of defense Houston plays. Spags has those guys playing forward. They are looking at the quarterback, backs to the end zone. They see everything. That's how he wants to lay it out. Now, they had an opportunity to run right at them. That's how you negate defensive ends coming up the field to have a meeting at the quarterback. You run at them. You can't run at this team side to side. They're too quick laterally. That's how they beat. That's how Dallas got beat. You run at them. But he wanted to throw the ball all over the yard. I don't know what he was trying to prove, but what he was trying to prove was that he was stupid and didn't watch game tape from Buffalo, which sends you home. Now, Lamar, on the other hand, hard-headed, I don't know if you're trying to prove that you're a pocket passer. I don't know what you're trying to do. But there was nothing that he needed to do but to do what he was doing all season long. And that's breaking the pocket, making them pay when they give you the opportunity. And then once they feel like they have to respect you as a runner, now the back half opens up. Now OBJ can get balls. Now Zay Flowers can get uncontested balls. Now Aguilar can get uncontested balls. But they just pissed down their leg. Chiefs deserving of the win. They dominated in the first half. Mike McDonald's defense shut them down in the second half, and the offense still was unable to get enough points to win that ball game. What a disrespect to your offense or defense for what they've done. Yeah, I don't get it. Looking ahead, though. So we have the Chiefs, who once again made it back to the Super Bowl. I don't want to hear any more talk about Pat Mahomes being baby GOAT. Just look at the numbers comparison. He's one of the greatest and will be one of the greatest of all time. And you got the 49ers. I can't trust Kyle Shanahan until Kyle Shanahan proves that he can win in the big game and not be hard-headed and do what he wants to do, but do what his team does best. And we haven't seen that enough from him. So my thought is that I'm going to pick the Chiefs to win this game. I want the 49ers to win. That would be my pick. But I don't trust Kyle Shanahan at all. He's going to have to prove it to me by winning and taking this ball game from the Kansas City Chiefs. They've been here and done that. Kelsey had a nasty attitude, and he got under their skin in Baltimore. That's why you had all the penalties. Will they be able to do the same thing to San Francisco is the question. I think you're going to have a good slugfest. Both of these teams are physical defensively. Offensively, 49ers like to run the football. But we all know Kyle Shanahan has to overthink things because of his ego and thinks that he can do what he wants and throw it all over the yard. We'll see if he sticks to what this team does well. But I'm going to go with the trusted. The trusted is Andy Reid, Spagnuolo, and Pat Mahomes. That's tough to bet against in a Super Bowl that they are now going to try to be a repeater in. Can't go against the reigning, defending, undisputed Super Bowl champs right now. It's going to be a good Super Bowl, though. You definitely want to tune in. I think the X's and O's are going to be something fun to watch. And I'm going to tell you, you don't want to miss it. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this show. Again, if you would, go over to our YouTube page. It is at The NotBland Show. Subscribe and hit the bell. That way, you ladies and gentlemen know exactly when we're going to go live. Again, this has been The NotBland Show. I'm Dujane Bland. We're out of here.